Hey, we got sound, we got power, we got lights, we got camera action. Oh my god, I'm crazy. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, thanks for tuning in. I'm so excited about today's video. Today is my first video filming back at home since I was in the States. I had such a really good time. I made so many vlogs when I was there. I'm still catching up on those. Really behind on those actually, so they're probably gonna be happening like not in real time for you guys, like not even close. If you guys are interested in my vlog channel, I'll put it up here in the iCard. It is a new channel for me, so I'm still working on things and how I want to do my vlogs, but I just came back from the States and went to New York and my cousin's wedding and all kinds of really fun stuff, so if you're interested in that, check that out. But today we are going to be talking about the new Fenty Beauty foundation. It is the Pro Filtr Hydrating Longwear Foundation. I also have the Pro Filtr Soft Matte Foundation that we're gonna put them up against each other. That way you guys can kind of see how they work differently, what one you think might work better for your skin, because these are made very differently. They have different purposes for different skin types. And I know when you are first getting into makeup, figuring out what kind of skin type you have is kind of like hard to do. Like honestly, the way that I ended up figuring out that I personally have pretty dry skin is just by doing my makeup and like looking at my face and like observing how my face kind of changes throughout the seasons and all of that. And I noticed that my face is always dry. Even in the summertime, it's dry. I just put on some moisturizer like an hour ago, and so my face doesn't look super dry right now, but I have very dry skin. You guys may have already seen my Milk Makeup stick foundation review. I did that while I was in the States, but guys, I bought way more foundations than that. I bought all of these foundations while I was in the States. All of these foundations are super popular right now, and I really wanted to try them out. I got really excited and ended up picking up pretty much all of the foundations that are new right now. So I have the Urban Decay Stay Naked 24-hour weightless liquid foundation. I have the new Anastasia Luminous foundation. I have the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie foundation. And then I also picked up, because I've never actually used this one, but I've heard really good things, both of the Revolution foundations. So we have the Conceal and Define Full Coverage foundation, and then we have the Conceal and Hydrate foundation by Revolution. And I'm also going to be doing a video very similar to this one with these foundations too. I also have the matching concealers for each foundation that I'm going to try as well. So if you are interested in more drugstore affordable pricing makeup, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, because that video will be coming, so that way you guys can see how these go against each other. The Soft Matte foundation, although it was a great like revolutionary thing for the beauty community because she released it with 50 shades, it didn't really work the best for my skin type because I have very dry skin. This is matte, this is hydrating. You get the point, I hope. So Rihanna was able to recognize that and really hear people, and then she came out with this hydrating foundation. So here we are. Rihanna listens to the people, which is what we need this day and age, because everybody's different. Everybody has different skin types, skin tones, and we need variety up in here. I have seen some reviews already of people using the hydrating foundation, and I will have to say I'm pretty surprised by how many people are actually saying that they weren't a fan of the matte foundation, because when this foundation came out, everybody was raving about it. But now that this one has come out, I feel like people are kind of saying what they really mean. Oh my god, I was scared there for a second. This is a glass bottle. When the matte foundation first came out, it was one of the first products. Was it the first product? I can't really remember for sure, but it was one of the first products that Rihanna came out with in her line. So people were really encouraging with the foundation, which totally makes sense. I think the way that it worked out was totally fine, but I think now that the brand is really going and everybody already loves the brand, they're being more critical of the products that she puts out for a good reason, because Fenty Beauty has really high expectations now just because they have set a huge precedent in the beauty community, and just a lot of their stuff that they come out with is really good, and she really works hard to try to make sure that her products work for everybody. Like, Fenty Beauty is definitely one of the top brands right now because of that specific thing, because she kind of paved that path for all the brands. Now, if a brand isn't releasing foundations for all skin tones, they are being highly called out, I guess. This day and age in the makeup community, you can find tons of foundations in different brands, and they have extensive shade range. So if you're not stepping up to that plate and making a foundation that has tons of different skin tones, why did you even bother? Because people are not gonna be happy about it. I feel like I'm rambling about this, but I just basically want you guys to know how important Fenty Beauty has been in the makeup community, and which is one reason why I really love to support her brand. Also, I'm just freaking stoked to have this foundation because I have dry skin. So I'm one of those people, when I got the matte foundation, yeah, I was really excited, but to be completely honest, I've only used this like 2 times or something because it's very matte. It's very matte. Although it claims to be for all skin types, and I will get into the differences between these foundations and everything, it's very matte. So the hydrating one, I'm super excited to try it and really test it for you guys and see how it works against the matte foundation, so you guys can really see split down my face how they look different on someone like me who has dry skin. They both come in a box that looks like this. I don't have my box for my matte foundation anymore, obviously, because I've had it for a while. But here is the hydrating foundation, and then this is the soft matte foundation. So obviously they are in completely different kinds of packaging. I think that's another thing that Rihanna took the feedback from consumers and made it into a tube, because a lot of people like a tube foundation. They both have a pump on them, which is awesome. I think so far I definitely prefer a tube because, as you guys can see, I'm pretty clumsy and I just tossed the crap out of this bottle and had a heart attack because I thought I broke it everywhere. So with this one, no problem at all. It's super flexible. You can travel with this so much easier. Big fan of the package changing, although I will say the glass one on the matte one does feel more luxurious, if that makes sense. Like, anything that's heavier and more heavy duty package just feels more luxurious and nicer, and this one is just a squeezy tube, so it can feel like it's not as luxurious, but I think most people don't really care about that, and they're more in it for the functionality of it, you know, because this is something that you're going to be using on a daily basis, if that's the kind of thing for you. I don't really use foundation on a daily basis. I'm just an addict. So I'm going to give you guys some information on both of these foundations really quick, just so you have an idea of what each of them does. But first of all, both of them are 1.08 ounces. They are $35, and they both come in 50 different shades. They both are cruelty free. They both claim to be skin-like, long-wear, and light as air. Both are medium to buildable coverage. They both claim to be sweat and humidity resistant, and they both claim that they will not clog your pores. Now, the differences between these is obviously, one, we talked about the packaging already, but the matte foundation claims to be instantly smooth, pore diffusing, and shine free, oil free, and it is an Allure Best of Beauty award winner. It's free of parabens and phthalates, and it claims to work on all skin types, although, like I was saying, a lot of people have been saying that this is not good for dry skin. But at the time of when they released this foundation, they did state that it was for all skin types. But as you can see, Rihanna has recognized that it's not quite for everyone, so they came up with the hydrating one as well. On the Fenty website, it says the soft matte is Rihanna's favorite foundation. I'm assuming it's because she probably doesn't have super dry skin. And I have the shade 110, which I think is like the second to lightest shade that they have, and it is light, let me tell ya. It is light. Now for the hydrating foundation, it claims to be comfortable, a natural finish, not too dewy. For normal to dry skin, it has grapeseed oil and sodium hyaluronic for normal to dry skin. It doesn't settle into fine lines, and it's obviously hydrating. I have the shade 120, which is more a perfect shade match for me. Okay, so I've talked so much about these already. I think it is time to put these on the face, because you guys are probably so sick of me talking about things and are just like, can you please just put it on the face already? And the answer is yes. let's go ahead and put these on the face. All right, you guys, I just primed my face using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I love this primer. It works good with all foundations that I have tried so far with it. So first we're gonna go in with the matte foundation. I'm also using the same exact brush for both sides. So let's go ahead and use the matte foundation on this side of my face, and we'll use the hydrating on this side of my face.
I dropped my phone, cracked the screen, roommate just smoked all my weed. My life's a mess, I didn't notice.
That was one pump. I'm just gonna add a half of a pump on.
No, I'ma do it how I want, so don't feel no fear.
Did just get my nose pierced, so I kind of have to ignore that part on my nose. I've used this foundation before, so I'm pretty familiar with how it works anyways, and I know that it usually sits pretty dry on my nose, so I'm just gonna skip that part and just keep that in mind that I know that this foundation doesn't sit the best on my nose anyways. So here is the matte foundation on my face. It is very matte. It is also very light. Like I said, it's definitely a shade lighter than what I need right now, but this is what I have, so we're gonna do it anyways. It is a very medium coverage. I probably could build it up to be more full, but it isn't like super full coverage, if that makes sense. Okay, now with the hydrating foundation, I'm so excited to give this a try. Ew, it started leaking, I think because I pumped it out to see the shade. Okay, that's one pump.
Lost my keys, Tinder's got no match for me. My life's a mess, I just go with it. Whenever bad.
I'm gonna do a whole another pump just to see if I can build it up.
I'ma do it how I want, so don't feel no fear. Feeling wild.
Ooh, definitely dewy. You see how the dewiness? I think I'm gonna add 1/2 more pump on the matte side since I used 2 full pumps on this side. I want it to be fair.
I'm alive, dancing just to survive.
Okay, that is both of them applied. The hydrating one is definitely dewy. I really like the way that it looks. It doesn't look like super overly dewy, which I appreciate just because I do have super dry skin, so just like a little bit of dewy. I mean, to be fair, it is pretty dewy, but it's not like gross dewy. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's not super like oily looking dewy. It just looks like natural dewy, which I really like. And then clearly matte on this side. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in so you guys can see what the foundation is looking like.
I'm alive, dancing just to survive. Dancing like I'm alive.
I hope you guys are really able to see like how dewy it is. Like, you can really see the like I want to say shine, but it's not like shine. Like, it's like just the dewiness. And then this one is very matte, very matte. You can even see, I don't know if you guys are able to see on camera, but because my skin is very dry, you can kind of see how it sits on my cheeks, kind of dry looking, like in these areas. I don't know if you guys can see that at all. Okay, so that's both foundations done. I'm gonna go ahead and add some concealer, and I'm also going to use the Fenty setting powder. I've actually never used this before, but I've heard amazing things about it. So I'm gonna use the Fenty setting powder. This is the shade Butter. It's just butter. I don't know, I said butter. Oh, and I also forgot to mention to you guys the way that they feel. Okay, so the matte one feels more dry and this one feels tacky the tiniest bit. It does feel like you could get away without setting it. It's not like super wet, but there is like a lot of transfer on my hand. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I do have some that came off on this side when I touched it, and the matte one not so much. So if you do get oilier throughout the day, I would definitely set it. So I'm going to be setting it under the eyes where I put my concealer, and I might just do like a little bit of dabbing. And even after you're setting this, you can still see like that it's very dewy. Someone I watched was like, this is like the most dewy foundation they've ever put on. But for me, I'm pretty sure I've put on more dewy foundations. That's just my opinion, but I also have very dry skin. So maybe it just balances out really good on my skin. I will say I'm really liking the way that the hydrating foundationing is looking on my skin. I already kind of had a feeling I was gonna like it more than the matte one. Obviously, there is something in my eye. Oh my god. But anyways, guys, so this is what it looks like with powder and concealer. Almost 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm not doing anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish on the rest of my makeup. I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so I have the rest of my makeup on and I think that everything went on pretty well. The only thing that I would say that you can tell that's different is the fact that this side of my foundation, the matte one, I obviously was the lighter shade. So I think that everything kind of looks more harsh or bold compared to this side where everything kind of looks like it's like more blended and natural, because this is like the my actual skin tone that matches me. This one is just kind of like, because it is whiter, it's like a little bit more like bam, if that makes sense. But I feel like overall they blended, like everything blended on the same way. I am preferring this side just because the matte foundation, like I was saying earlier, because it just kind of like, you can just see like dots like all over my face, and it's really hard to explain, but it just looks not patchy. I don't know, I don't really know what it is. It just looks dry. It just looks so dry. Now obviously this side is hydrating. It does look better. I much prefer it. I like this foundation, but I will say that it's not my favorite foundation that I've ever used, although I think it is a really good foundation. I think I have kind of given you guys a good idea of these foundations and how I'm liking them and how I feel about them. So I will come back to you guys at the end of the day and I will show you guys what we're looking like and see if anything's kind of slid around or anything like that, or if there's any changes. Here you guys, so it's a long time later. It is now 5 p.m. Wait, is it 5 p.m? I literally don't even know. 5 p.m, if you can even see that. I think I mentioned the time earlier, but I started to put my makeup on around 5:30 and I finished around 6 a.m. It was a long time and it was 11 hours of wear time. I will say I fell asleep totally face down and everything. Gross as this sounds, I feel like my pillowcase could have soaked up any extra oils or anything that I may have had throughout the time of wearing this. But you can see that I do have a little bit of oil built up like on my forehead and such, and it does look more dewier than it did earlier, but I don't think it looks too overly dewy. I think that if I would have wore this without falling asleep, it probably would have been a better wear test. But I really like this foundation a lot. I love the way it sat on my face and the fact that I fell asleep on my face, and really honestly neither side like really looks like I lost any coverage. The only place is right here on my nose, but that is so normal for me, and I feel like I probably could have like touched my nose or something, especially with my new nose piercing. I kind of mess with my nose a little bit more than I'm used to, and I don't know what is up, but this eye is watering so much right now, so just ignore that. I love the way this looks so much. I think it actually wears better the longer you have it on. Like that goes for both of them, honestly. You can you can see on my cheek area here on the matte side, I do have a little bit of dewiness starting to peek through, but I like the way that looks. So maybe I need to try the matte foundation more. The dewy one didn't sink into any of my fine lines like at all, but the matte one did. I don't know how much you guys can tell, it's very slight, but the matte one kind of sinked into my smile line on this side just a tiny bit. Honestly, it's not enough for anyone else to notice besides me, but it did happen. So like if you have issues with your smile lines, you might have this matte side crease in your smile lines or your forehead, you know, anywhere that you have fine lines, it might show up a little bit more. That's not really a problem area for me specifically though. And then on my forehead, it's kind of the same thing. The hydrating side didn't sink into my fine lines really, but the matte side, just the tiniest little bit it did. I really do find it kind of quite strange that I'm liking both of these more now that it's the end of the day. I mean, I know it's only 5 p.m, but like listen, I'm still kind of jet lagged, so my sleeping is crazy. Yeah, I really like the way that both of them wear. Now, if you're trying to figure out which one to get for you, first of all, you really need to like assess your skin, figure out what kind of skin type you have, which one's gonna work better. I do feel like I like the hydrating one better because I do have super dry skin, but if you don't have super dry skin, I think either one of these will work for you. I've seen a lot of reviews of people talking about the hydrating foundation who have oily skin who really actually like this foundation foundation a lot. If a hydrating foundation does make you nervous and you have oily skin, I would say that just go for the matte one because it's a great foundation as well. However, it is doable for oily skin is basically what I'm trying to say. I hope that gives you guys an idea of the differences between these foundations. So the whole point of this video was not really to see which one was better, although one of them is kind of a little bit better for me because I do have dry skin. They're both great foundations. I just wanted to show you guys what the differences are between them in case you guys are trying to figure out which one will work better for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful or helpful. If you did, make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.